All right, and here we are with Darlene doing our winter nail art. Welcome,
Hello,
everyone.
welcome. Thank you, Isabel. If welcome once again to the NSI Nail Technicians Facebook group page. That is a lot to say, and it is still morning for me here in Canada, Alberta. So if you've had your abundance of coffee already and your mouth is working, kudos to you. I always have to chuckle. I don't know how many webinars we have done. I think we've done a year straight for sure. And then, prior to that, and every every time we go to log in, it's the same questions. How do we do this again? And we have a little fumble. So I think we should really put some bloopers together, and so that you can see the behind the scenes chaos that happens. And then I think you would have a little insight as to why we behave the way that we do. So that's my little funny haha for you this morning, this afternoon, this evening. So welcome. Okay, stop rambling. Let's be professional. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the winter nail art um, video that we're doing today. For those of you that know me, fantastic. If you do not, and this is your first time logging in with us, my name is Darlene Tewitz. I am corporate educator for NSI as well as one of their global educators. I am based out of Canada. I'm in Western Canada in the north, and we have snow. So if you are living somewhere where it's still nice and warm and you have flowers blooming and the birds singing. There are no birds singing here. Well, there are, but they're crows and they don't count. But it is blistery, it is cold, and we have been doing winter nail art for a very long time here already. So we decided to combine the November and the December webinar together as one. I wasn't available mid-November, and then it was American Thanksgiving, and so we thought we wanted everybody to have a good chance. And then if we waited another week or so to get into some of the festive holiday nail art, well, it's too late because as nail techs, we are full-blown into clients who are wanting art on their nails already today. So I've picked out a few different designs, and they are maybe a little bit more simple, I guess, in that regard. And I think that's important. Um, yes, we can do characters, and I can do characters and do beautiful 3D looking things. But when it comes to this time of the year, time is key. And when you have got your clients booked back to back to back to back to back, having that one client that says, I want you to draw Santa's village on my little pinky nail, can put a little bit of pressure on us. So I thought, let's put together some art that is fun, that we can incorporate different things with it, that you can elevate it, and kind of do, even if you do one finger as a feature finger, but use the rest of your fingers to tie in together with that. So I thought, let's find some art that we can do, that we can add on to a service that is not going to put us over our time limit when it comes to our clients. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 7 designs, whether or not, well, let's say 6, because one is an alternative of. So I've got 7 designs that I'm going to show you, and that we will go through. And of course, as always, please ask questions if there's anything that you would like some more advice on or anything like that. And Isabel is going to be my eyes through the webpage, so she can forward those questions on to me. And I realize not everybody perhaps celebrates Christmas, but I think there's still things that you can learn where it's like, okay, well, I can maybe do this, but maybe it's Christmas right now, or it's the holiday season, and I can turn it into, oh, if I do this and add a flower instead, it could be perhaps summer or spring for you. So yeah, hoping that this is going to be something good for all of you. But anyways, as per usual, I am going to take the phone and flip it around. So you're going to see some things on my wall and whatnot. So just give me a second. Whoops, come on. All right, so let's do this. What did I do?
Darlene, I think you're muted.
There we go. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Again, we need to do a bloopers video because, I go to turn the phone around and I'm
Well, I put in the
pressing.
comments that I don't think we can do a bloopers video because there'd be so much censoring that they wouldn't be able to tell what any of us are saying. So it'd just be bleep.
Yeah, but it could be fun. Okay, so hey, we're human, right? Let's move on. So please let me know if you need me to move my hand up or down because I think this is probably as close as to the camera as I can go. And I apologize, my nails are horrific. I have not had a chance to do them, but that's not why we're here. Okay, so here are some of the designs that we are going to be looking at today. And I'm just going to place them here. Now I've got a bunch of pops that I have prepped already because that just takes time. What I love about winter designs is I think you can use a matte top coat for absolutely everything. There is something about winter and matte. So I am using the NSI no wipe top coat, and there is something to be said about matte top coat and winter, and to me it feels like a cozy sweater. Sweater. Okay, let's take a look at some sweater nails. So I've done two different samples. So this particular one here, I have mixed gel polish together with clear acrylic because it gives me definitely a more uh, detailed raised design. Where this one here, I thought it might be kind of fun. I just used the gel polish, and instead of using clear acrylic, I used the white diamonds over top of it to give it a little bit of sparkle. I think you do lose a little bit of your detail in your cable switch stitch, pardon me, here. Perhaps if I wouldn't have put that other line on that side, maybe it would be a little bit more noticeable, but I'm sure you could even do the combination of both. So first things first, prep your nail, okay? Cure it with your gel polish color of choice. I, again, like to use my matte top coat. Now, this is one thing that I have found is very, very important when you are using your matte top coat and we're going to start to layer. Yes, I like to use cleanse lots of times, but in this case, I am using rubbing alcohol. I am going to use rubbing alcohol to give my nail a good wipe. Yes, I know it says that it is a no wipe top coat, but there is still a little bit of a, not a sticky film, but there is still a layer of disbursement that is on there that if you were just to get up and go, it wouldn't matter. But if we're layering nail art over top of it, it does. So I'm just using a wipe and I just wipe down to make sure that there is no disbursement layer. So I'm going to show you a few different ways. I have used Dirty Little Secrets because I feel like that is a great winter color. And I'm just going to put a little bit on a palette. So this is one way to do your sweater nails. Okay, so then I am taking my Totally Clear, and I've got a little spatula scoop here, and I am going to mix it together with my gel polish. And I am kind of making it like a paste. Okay, I want this to be thicker than what my gel polish is because I want it to have more of a raised look to it. Okay, so this is what I am coming up with. So I've got, it's not really pasty, but it certainly is thicker than what gel polish is. Now, this step, I did it for myself because I felt I wanted to be 100% sure. I do believe the clear acrylic mixed into your gel polish will give it that matte look, but I wasn't 100% sure because I was playing with so many different things. So I am just adding a little bit of my no wipe top coat to this mixture, and I'm going to mix it up really good. If it's too thin and you want a little bit more structure to it, no big deal. Just take some more acrylic and mix it into that. Okay, I'm going to use a dotting tool, and I like to use the smaller end of my dotting tool. You can get dotting tools that are smaller even yet, which I think work perfectly great. The nice idea about mixing your acrylic into your gel polish and then doing the design is that I can do stages and freeze it and then keep adding to it. Where if I'm using just the gel polish and sprinkling the the clear acrylic over top of it, my whole surface gets the acrylic powder on it. So neither way is the right way or the wrong way. It just really boils down to, I think, your preference. Okay, so let's take my dotting tool, and I'm just going to pick up a scoop. And if you start by making a comma and then coming to the opening, making another comma, and just keep joining them together like that. I'm trying not to touch, but they are touching a little bit, but that's not the end of the world. And I'm just going to keep working my way down as if I'm making a cable stitch. Oops. Okay, so I've got one step done. If I'm brave, I'll do another step. I'm not brave. So I'm just going to stick it into my light, and I'm just going to do a 10-second flash cure and call it a day. Now, I also like to use a very long striper brush. I have cut out about still half of these bristles because I like it to be super thin. So the less bristles that you have in a striper brush like this will give you a finer line, where if it has more hairs, because I'm using the whole length of the brush, it can give you a thicker look. Okay, so now I'm going to take my striper brush and I'm going to add it into my little mixture here. Okay, and place it down, follow through. So now you're making your cables, you're stitching, and you can see how that is raised, and because it's thicker, it doesn't run away on you. So if you wanted to, you could layer a little bit, add a little bit more to it. This one here, I'm going to add a little bit. Okay, so that is one way that we can make our design. So I'm just going to give this a full cure. So 30 seconds. I'm going to clean my brush here. So I've got a little Dappen dish with some cleanse in it, just to get the color and whatnot out of there. And I will just clean my spatula as well. Okay, the next way that I'm going to show you, and I'm just going to do it on the same tip so that you get that same idea. I'm going to take my Polish Pro and I'm going to wipe off the brush because I'm just going to set that to the side. And I'm going to use, once again, my striper brush. So this is how we would then do it if we were sprinkling. Okay, so pretend that that's not there for a second. I'm going to stick my brush into the gel polish. Okay, load it up. And then just add my stripes. So I'm just going to do just a little bit of detailing because obviously I've got something on the other side. But this at least gives you that idea of how you've got some different choices of how you can do your sweater nails. Okay, I'm going to take my spatula again. Okay, so this side is wet. So now you don't want to dip it in. Okay, you want to pour. You want to sprinkle it on top. If you go to dip it in, you're going to be smushing it because like you're going to move your lines there because they're not cured. Okay, so now I've got that on and I'm going to just again cure that. So if you wanted to, instead of using the acrylic powder, you could use the white diamonds, which is just a really pretty, very fine, shimmery glitter. And that's what I did with this. So same idea, used my wet gel polish and then sprinkled the glitter over top of it to get that design. So I'm just going to cure that. I'm going to put my lid back on here. All righties. Now I do have a little bit of dust on there, so I'm just going to take some cleanse, just wipe that off, and then as it dries. So there you have two different ways, I guess three if we count the sprinkled acrylic or sprinkled gel. Sorry, again, coffee. So this one here was where I mixed the acrylic powder into the gel polish. And then this one here is where I put the acrylic powder into the wet gel polish. You will have a little bit of a difference. This one here is a little bit more of a rougher texture, where this one is slightly smooth, but it all depends on what's your design element? How do you want to do it? So if you wanted to make add some color into it instead of using the clear, still use your gel polish to make your lines, your designs, that kind of a thing. But say you take black acrylic powder. Now you're going to make those lines pick up that color of the pigment of the acrylic powder that you're putting on. So you can get a little bit of that two-toned look that you want. I always suggest to play and have some samples out for your clients to see so that they get an idea of this is the design that I want. And then you have your little palette there that you can go ahead and make the design because you've got the example in front of you and away you go. So I'm just going to clean this up here because I want that gone. Okay, the next one. Any questions on that one before I move on? Great. The next one that I'm going to do
Sorry, no,
is
no questions.
that's okay, is a plaid design. And this is, you can get really creative with something like this. I think the biggest thing is that you want to have some thinner lines, some thicker lines. And if you want, you can always add in some little detailing and diagonal lines. So once again, I've got my my nail prepped and I did clean it once with rubbing alcohol, but I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to wait for that to dry. Now, what I like about this particular design is that I am going to incorporate matte and shiny. And this is where the tech gel colors really come into play because it makes it really kind of fun because the tech gel colors, they cure to a high gloss finish. So they've got a top coat incorporated into the gel. So we're going to have a matte and a shiny look is what we're going to have going on here. So I'm just got some colors out here that I feel represent the season. All righties. And I've got a little bit of white in case we want some white. Now, we do not have a silver. And I'm sorry to any new technicians that have joined this group, but I still have in my tickle trunk design gel. And And I absolutely love design gel. I don't know what I'm going to do when I have no more design gel, because we have discontinued this product quite a while ago. But sorry, Isabel, I'm causing some havoc where I've pulled it out, because I might want to add a little bit of detailing. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is I want to decide, well, what's my main color going to be? Well, I'm going to go with the green. So I'm going to take my striper brush again. And this is a thicker, it's a thicker gel color. So this is just for color. It is not made for sculpting or anything like this. This is just a finish. And I'm using my striper brush again. And I'm going to, the nice thing about a nice long striper brush is that you could put it down flat and just pull it through. So it's not like you're just having to use the tip. Unfortunately, NSI does not have a striper brush in their collection of brushes, but I totally do love it, and I wish we did. Just gonna fill this back portion in just a little bit. So I just put two stripes side by side, and I'm gonna make this one just a little bit thicker. So I'm gonna put a third one just beside so that I get a wider. Sorry, I'm turning my client's finger around. And I do that when I'm working with my clients. Especially if you're if you're used to pulling it one way or to the other, I do get my clients, I'll turn their hand around, palms up, so that I can get that other side a little bit easier, because I'm used to pulling one certain way. And then all of a sudden I got to go the other way. Well, you know what? I'm going to just turn the hand and it just makes it easier. Okay, I'm just going to freeze that. So I'm just going to put it in for 10 seconds. Okay, and as I'm doing that, I'm going to clean my brush and get rid of the green. Okay, and then I'm going to take this out. So it's not cured, but it's just so I can overlap my colors if I want to. And really now it just is a matter of imagination. If you want to use a certain plaid as as your design, as your map, you can certainly do that, or you can just freehand it. Now I always anchor myself, so don't make sure that you're not resting on your tabletop, because you're going to not have range of motion when it comes to pulling your brush through. You don't want to lock yourself in. So I'm just going to make my little designs, my little plaid. And there's no right or there's no wrong. It's your design, and it's how you want to feature it. And if you're a little bit crooked, that's okay. Just add another line to straighten it out. And so now you got a little bit of a wider one and a little bit of a skinny line. And you can, at this point, if you wanted to, you could very easily jump to your detailer brush where it's shorter if you needed to get into a few more spaces if it's shorter. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to turn my hand upside down. Maybe not. Okay, I'm going to come from up top. And I'm just going to place that there. Okay, and I'm going to freeze it. Okay, and I'm going to clean my brush again. Okay, and the only reason I'm freezing it is because I don't want my colors, oh brothers, again, blooper reel. I don't want to have my colors run together. I'm going to grab some brown. Okay. And I'm just going to add a line of brown. And remember, with plaid, you've got different directions, different designs. If you look at a plaid, you could make a square and then just pull some lines through, because we're making it going into a different direction. Again, there's no right or wrong as to how you want to see your plaid set up. It's a little heavy. Remove some of that. And then I do like the fact, like I said before, that my plaid will be shiny and my nail base will be matte. Now, if you do want, you could do this with gel polish as well. And then, because it won't be so raised. So if you wanted to, you could put matte top coat over top of it. Because I am using the Tech Gel colors and because they are a little bit thicker, they are going to be, and I'm just going to pull these together like that. Okay, so I've got that little design going on there. Okay, go back to gel polish. You could use gel polish to make your lines. You could use the cream gel palettes to do your lines and your designs as well. And the gel polish and the cream gel palettes, your design will be smooth and flat on top. So you can very easily go ahead and put matte top over top of it and have it still have that smooth look. If you're using the Tech Gel, which I am using, it is going to have a textured, raised feel to it. Okay, so there's not going to be, it's not going to be smooth. I don't like to then put a top coat over top of that because that's where then your top coat will blend into the seams, the lower parts of where the Tech Gel is a little bit raised, and it kind of pools and it looks muddy. And I feel like it just now you lose the definition of your nail, if that makes sense to you. Do it and you'll understand and you'll be like, ah, that's what she was talking about. Okay, so I'm gonna clean my brush. Now I'm going to add a little bit of detail where, sorry, I'm just going to get some of these out of my way here, where I want to maybe put a little bit of gold. Okay, gold at Christmas time, the season. And I want this just to be a fine line, but it kind of gives it that finished look. Okay. All right. I'm going to put line on this side, a line on this side. Again, remember, don't be afraid to have fun. It's art, and there is no right or wrong when it comes to art. It's your interpretation of it. So if it didn't quite turn out as somebody else's design did, well, don't worry about that. Okay, so now my plaid, I also feel like I need something down in this corner. So maybe, see, I'm winging this. This is just what I feel. And a lot of times I find when I'm doing nail art, it's like, oh, that didn't turn out the way that I wanted it the first time. Okay, so I'm doing that. I'm happy with it. I'm going to take my silver, got a little bit of gel polish on this back end. Take my silver and I'm just going to put some dots on the side. Again, just for some detail. Oh, did you see that? Buggers. Okay, just a second. Let's fix this. It's the only thing with even the Tech Gel colors. See how it kind of pools? You got to pull straight up so you don't get that little tail that I just got. But because I flash cured my brown, there, I can go in and I can pick it up. All right, so now I will put that into the light and I am going to cure that so it's 100% cured, and then I will take it out and I will show it to you. So again, there's no right or there's no wrong. It's just how do you see your design? How do you want it to go? So I'm just moving some things so I can get ready for my next design. Trying to find the right lids to go on to the right thing here. Yeah. Any questions?
Nothing right now. Everyone's just saying good tips about the anchoring.
Perfect. Okay. So let's take a look. So that's those ones here. Now let's go into some holiday. Okay. And we're going to look at this particular one. Now, I don't, obviously my second one's going to turn out a little bit different than this one because I feel like I need to do some changes. So what I have done is I've got my red base, and then I did some marbling, and then I used my tech gel here to create some holly. So what do I do for this particular one? Let me just take this out. All right, so here we have, oops, sorry, that finished nail, and it's textured. So it's got some texture to it. It's not a flat nail, so you could very easily make a bow, a ribbon, pardon me. It looks like almost like Christmas wrapping, to be honest with you. All right, let's try this again. I've got my nail here. I've done already 2 coats of my gel polish. And I'm sorry, unless you think you have found a different perfect red, you let me know in the comments. But Polish Pro Scarlet. Scarlet is the absolute best red. I find that everybody does really good, like all skin tones do fantastic with this Scarlet. It's not a orange base, it's not a pink base. I don't know what it is, but it is fantastic. Okay, I'm taking my Scarlet and I am putting on another layer of gel polish, and I am not curing it. Now, instead of using tech gel, so I am going to use, I like the Simplicity French white because it is super, super white. So I'm just going to put a little bit of white here. Now, why am I not using tech gel? What I have found, I don't want to do it, but I'll do it. If I use tech gel and I've got my wet polish sitting right here, if I pick up my dotting tool, watch how it's wet. So I've got red on my dotting tool, but look how it doesn't want to leave the color behind. And I think it might have something to do with the fact that that there is a top coat finish. Obviously the chemistry is very different. But I find if I want to do marbling of any sort, I have a really hard time doing it with the tech gel. I have to use gel polish. So I am using my French white and I'm using Scarlet, and we're going to make a candy cane. So I'm going to use my dotting tool. Again, I like to use the finer end that you have, the smaller your design will be. Okay. So if you want like it to be super, super tiny and you don't have a smaller end for a dotting tool, use the end of a toothpick because it comes to a really nice point. Maybe NSI should start selling those kinds of toothpicks. All right, so I'm gonna take my white and I'm going to just place it down. And again, I kind of lift to get that so I don't have a curl, a tail. And it's okay if it's blooming. It's kind of what you want it to do. You do have to move a little bit quicker because I don't want the top white button to be bigger, too much bigger than the bottom one. Now I'm going to take some red. And even though my red is wet on my nail plate on the base, I just want to add a little bit more red so that when I go to pull them together, that it kind of almost makes like a little heart. All right. So now this is where you can either use your detailer brush or you can use your dotting tool if you want. I'm going to start on the top. So on the top of the dots. And I'm going to pull through. And then turn my nail around because I'm going to go on the inside of the dots and I want to go the opposite direction. So it kind of makes that stripy look. All right, now I'm going to cure that. So I'm going to just put it in for 60 seconds. Now, this is, again, your choice as far as what top coat you want to use. If you want to use the matte top coat, or if you want to use the shiny. Again, like I said, I don't know why, but I go through so much matte top coat in the winter that it is ridiculous. I am just obsessed with matte in winter because it just reminds me of, like I said, a nice cozy sweater. All right. So I leave the tacky disbursement on. I'm using my no wipe top coat, and I'm going to put a layer on because I'm going to then do holly or a bow or whatever it is that you want. Okay, go in and cure that. I'm going to make that little detail. So here I just made some holly leaves and I made some little berries. I'm always jealous when I get to go to Isabel's house because she has a holly bush shrub. It is so beautiful in the wintertime when it stays that beautiful, beautiful green, and then you get those berries on there. It's like she has Christmas at her house all year round. All right, so I've got my top coat cured. I'm going back to my alcohol wipe, and I just want to make sure that I have that tacky disbursement on. What I found what happens, especially when you're doing layering, if you don't wipe it, like I found if I don't use rubbing alcohol to clean my surface because I want to add more elements to it, when I go to put my next element on, it almost pools away from itself. Like you'll get little pit marks, and it's like, again, it's probably chemistry. You're mixing two different things together, but I want it to be a nice smooth surface. So I just wipe it really good. Okay. And like I said, I find cleanse just doesn't have enough of that drying substance to it. I mean, I don't like using rubbing alcohol when I'm working with gel nails and I'm sculpting nails because I do find it dries the product too much. But when I'm doing this kind of art and I'm doing layering, I definitely do use the rubbing alcohol. Okay, let's make some holly leaves. So what I tend to do is I make little commas upside down. And then on this side, oops, do it upside down. Okay, and then I want to fill it in. So this way it gives me the points that I'm looking for, that I need. Okay, and then what I'll do is afterwards, I'm going to just add a little bit of black on the outside just to give it a little bit more detailing. Okay, and I'm going to put another holly leaf over here. And depending on how big you want it, is how many scallops that you will do. Okay, and then I'm going to do one more right here, but I'm going to drop it just a little bit. And color that in. Okay, so now I've got my leaves, and I'm going to just freeze that again. Going to clean my brush. Now I'm going to use my glass hard gel. And what I'm going to do with that, going back to my detailer, but I'm going to use the bigger end. And I'm going to pick up some gel. And I'm going to make my little berries. Maybe that was a little too much. So I'm just going to make a little berry. Make sure that it doesn't touch to the next one because it will join together. Going to just freeze it really quick so it doesn't move on me. So again, just freeze it for 10 seconds. So it stops moving. Okay. And then I'll put another one right there. Freeze it again. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another dot over top of all three of them. So you're building it up a little bit. Okay. All right. So take my dot, build that up. Make sure you don't have that little web because that'll touch somewhere where you don't want it to. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to cure that. So what it's done is it's given me a little bit of that 3D look, and I've got a little bit of a raised berry that I've got going on there. Okay, so move my green. I'm going to take my red out, and I'm going to use some of my black. Now you don't have to use black if you don't want to. If you want to use silver, you want to use gold for your detailing. By all means, you can do that too. Okay, I'm going to take my. So can you see how they're really nice and raised? I don't know if you can see how they're nice and raised. Okay. Now I'm going to take my red and I'm just going to paint it. I'll do this side. And this side. There, now you see my little dots. All right, I'm going to freeze that again. Clean my brush. Oops. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take just a little bit of white tech gel. And I want it to be somewhat dry. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add a little half moon to the top. And that just gives it a little bit more detail as to where the light might be touching it, kissing it, and it looks super pretty. Okay, just freeze that so it doesn't go away. And I'm going to use my black. And I'm just going to stretch it through my brush. And then in for the detailing, I'm just going to add very fine, and that's why I kind of have my brush almost dry because I don't want to deposit a lot of black behind. I just kind of want to give it that shadowing, and it just details it, it defines it, I guess is the word I'm looking for, defines it a little bit more, and it looks super pretty. And again, this one here, I'm not going to put another top coat over top because I've kind of got that raised bit of a look to it, and I want to leave it like that. If I go to put top coat over top, like I said, just adding in some veining, I feel like it just ruins the design, and it becomes, you lose your detail. Okay, there we go. And let me just freeze that for a second. Move my black, move my red. When you're working with all these colors, you need to have a whole bunch of wipes so that you keep your fingers clean. Okay, now I'm just going to go in with my silver. That's not silver, I'm colorblind. That's gold. Geez Louise. Okay, take my gold. And I'm going to just add a little bit of ribbon. And that's okay if it goes over top. And add a bow. And of course, you can make that bow as big or as small as you want. So that's super cute. Can you see that, or is it not in focus?
It's not quite in focus.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
There. Okay, so that's one. Now you can easily, instead of making a candy cane, you can easily make a round circle and make it into a wreath if you wanted to, or if you wanted to make an ornament or anything like that. So that is that design right there. How are we doing for time, Isabel? Are we okay?
Yeah, I'd say we've got time for one more at least.
Okay, so let me explain these two because they're kind of done similar, but I'm going to show you, I don't know, take a consensus. Do we want to see the star done or do we want to see the top of the present? So what I've done for both of these as a base, I've mixed glitter, loose glitter into my glass and with a little bit of no wipe shiny top coat. And I've made like a star on the backside, and then here I've made like little feathers. Okay. And then I cured that and then I did my design over top. So is there a consensus one way or the other? I will mix some product together here.
Looks like everyone's afraid to vote.
Afraid to vote. Okay. Well, all right. I got it. I'll do a combination. Okay, I'm gonna take my glass. Okay. And I'm gonna take some glitter. And again, it's glitter of your choice. And this is where you can easily do this even in summertime. If you're making a flower or something, easy peasy. Okay, so mix it all together. And this one in particular has some different flakes, some chunks, some very fine. Absolutely love it. And I'm going to take my gel top coat and I'm just going to add a little bit there and scoop it together. So you can see it's kind of pasty. Okay, that's great. It's what I want. All right. Now I am going to take, hang on, kids. I'm going to take my silver and I'm going to take my striper brush that I need to clean. Again, not silver. This is gold. Don't know what my problem is. Okay, so first of all, we are going to do kind of a half star. So I'm just going to start and I'm going to make a line here. And I'm going to go across this way. Okay, so let's just do a freeze. Okay, then on this side, we're going to make a snowflake. So I'm going to make some dots and then connect the dots. You do want to leave some tech gel behind. So make sure that it's a bit of a raised dot so that when you go to pull it through that you've got color that's going to pull. Okay. I'm going to use my detailer and I'm going to pull it through. Okay. And I'm just going to do a freeze on that. Okay. I'm going to use my detailer or my dotting tool again, just to give it a little bit. No, not going to use my dotting tool. Had a moment. Add some arrows on this side for this star. And I'm going to add some dots to this. Whoops. So I should have done, because I changed my design midway, I should have done my dots and then pulled the line through the dots. But sometimes you have to improvise because, your client's sitting here waiting for things to get done. And you're like, can't wipe it off, can't file it off. So what are we going to do next? Okay. Whoops, almost made that one upside down. Okay, so let's just freeze that. I'm gonna move that out of the way, and now I'm going to go to my little glitter design here. Okay, all right. So what I'm going to do is I've got just a flat nail art brush that I am going to pick up some product. And it's almost kind of feathery is what I'm doing. Okay. Stretch it out however much you want. A little bit more in here. All right. Now I'm going to freeze that again. And then I am going to, now on this particular one, I used white to give it some detailing. I think we're going to use gold because maybe that will show up a little bit more feathery-ish. Okay, so going to take my long striper brush and I'm just going to pull a line through. Pull a line through. Switch to my detailer. And just add, so it's kind of like a leaf slash feather look, if that makes sense. Okay. Oh, I got mixed up here for a second. I think I just put these on maybe backwards, but that's okay. My client's not going to know. All right. And there you have it. Not sure if that's in focus at all or not. So some quick, really simple designs. If you wanted to, instead of making a snowflake on the other side, like I did on this one, could have made it into a bow. Again, for the detailing, you can use whatever color you want. On this one, I used white. On this one, I used gold. Yeah, just to give it a little bit of something special. And again, these all have that raised textured feel to it. So that is great. I'm gonna switch you around. Thank you for looking at that. Switch you around here back to this way. Well, I hope this was some help. I hope that you learned something, maybe got some ideas as to what you might like to do with your clients. Like I said, I do a lot of my designs on pops, have them out displayed. So then my clients are like, oh, I want to nail art something Christmassy. And then I can say, here, pick these 6, 7 designs that I know I can get done in a quicker period of time, as opposed to drawing a penguin and having a caricature design or something where it's going to take me a little bit longer to do. So this time of the year is always very, very busy for us, but I hope that this gives you some inspo. And yeah, so that is it. Can you believe it? It is at the end of the year 2024. I cannot get over it. So I will, at this point, wish you happy holidays, a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, the best to all of you throughout this holiday season. And Isabel, unless you have something else to add, I guess that's a wrap for 2024.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, Darlene, for all of these wonderful webinars that you've done for us over the past year. I know the year's flown by. I think Katya
Crazy.
might still be on here watching. Thank you to her too for the ones that she's participated in. Denise has done some beautiful webinars for us too. It's always a joy to have all of you wonderful nail technicians join us and have these wonderful global educators that we work with do these webinars for us. I hope you're all enjoying them, and we hope to continue doing them in the new year. I'll, repeat the sentiments of Darlene. It's amazing that the year's already over. For those of you that celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. For those of you that celebrate, what else do we have? Hanukkah. Happy
Hanukkah, yeah.
Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Merry Kwanzaa, Happy Kwanzaa. Any other holiday that you celebrate, happy holidays. If you don't celebrate
Absolutely.
anything, then I just hope that you have a nice end of the year, and hopefully maybe you'll get to spend some time with your family, even if you're not celebrating holidays specifically, just celebrate the time that you have with your family,
Yeah.
and to everyone's health and well-being. And I'll stop rambling now. All right, thanks everybody.
Thank
Bye,
you. Merry
Darlene. Bye,
Christmas to
everybody.
everybody. Bye.